As soon as I got my hands on PS5 Pro, the very first game I wanted to test was Black Myth Wukong. After all, this game pushes the PS5 to its limits. The standard console struggles. It can't hold a solid 60 FPS even with aggressive FSR scaling and frame generation. Here's the PS5 Pro enhanced game list. There's about 55 games, but Black Myth isn't one of them. Will the PS5 Pro still run it better? Let's see. The standard console had 3 graphic modes: quality, balance, and performance. Quality looked the best, targeted 1440p upscaled resolution, but ran in the 30s quite often. Balance got around 45 FPS on the top end, but there were drops. And then there was performance, which tried to run a solid 60 FPS with the help of frame generation, but still couldn't hold a solid 60. Now let's get to the comparison. I want to first start with the loading times. Here I continued the game from dashboard and essentially got the same 1 minute and 2 seconds on both consoles. So the Pro isn't any faster in terms of loading. It's really the same. Next, I want to look at the graphics, the resolution. Keep in mind, this game isn't on the enhanced list, so there's not going to be any of that PlayStation AI upscaling going on to make it look sharper. There's also not really going to be any of that ray tracing that enhanced games might offer. Here's a side-by-side comparison of quality mode. It looks the same even when zoomed in 4 times. Balance mode has the same story, really looks identical even when you zoom in 4 times again as well. Same thing with performance mode, exactly the same resolution and visuals on the Pro. So really, there's no difference in everything we just looked at so far. But here's where things get interesting. The performance, the frame rate. This is what most gamers care about. FPS is really the single most important metric when analyzing hardware performance. Let's first look at quality mode. You can see the PS5 Pro easily running a higher FPS. I noticed about 5 to 10 FPS higher on average, and you can see you're gonna see that in the extended footage as well, not just in some small bursts. That advantage is fairly consistent throughout the game. PS5 Pro clearly improves performance here. Next up is balance mode, which targets about 45 FPS. Same story again with the PS5 Pro versus the regular console. The Pro is better. It manages to hold that 45 FPS more consistently. There's less drops, a higher average frame rate. PS5 here has aggressive drops to 33 FPS, while the Pro holds things above 40. The last mode here is performance, and this one tries for 60 FPS with frame generation. Once again, PS5 Pro clearly shows its power again. The Pro here is more consistent in terms of frame rate, closer to 60 FPS, less drops. The average are really going to be higher across the board. In some parts of the game, the Pro holds a solid 60 FPS for long stretches without any drops really. Now there's one thing I messed up on. With my PS5 footage, I had motion blur on weak, while on the PS5 Pro I had it on strong. But that doesn't really matter. It doesn't change anything. We would have still had the same story. The PS5 Pro still would have showed the same advantage. I tested PS5 Pro with motion blur off on one side and with motion blur on strong on the other. You can see it doesn't make a difference. If anything, the stronger motion blur has slightly lower performance, and that actually means the advantage I showed with PS5 Pro might actually be even better than what you saw in the side-by-sides. So there you have it. Even for a game that isn't on the PS5 Pro enhanced list, you get an improvement. Now of course, the Pro is not powerful enough to even run this game at those high resolutions and a solid 60 FPS, but it's an upgrade. Maybe that extra $250 is worth it after all. And maybe once this game becomes PS5 Pro enhanced, we'll see an even bigger advantage. It's really going to come down to how much effort each developer puts into optimizing their games for the Pro. I'll be testing a lot more games in the next few days, so stay tuned. For the rest of the video, check out some more side-by-side gameplay, PS5 versus PS5 Pro.
First ever, eh?
So hunting, and you cut me short! waiting for pluck your hair and make an offer. Hey, wait! I, the keeper of Black Wind Mountain, have long been waiting. We have company.
The master and our lord have my head.
It's been a while, but the immobilized spell still works like a charm. Since you hail from Mount Huaguo, it won't spell. You'll be able to hold them in place while giving yourself a breather. Sadly, mine is but a humble trick. Its power will wear off within a few short moments. Though it's good enough against boneheads like this one. Anyway, just consider it an ace up your sleeve. The young guys these days know no manners. Fear not. Teach them a lesson with your new spell.